the Lakota Reservation in northern Wisconsin. And I'm teaching life science and water resources. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the careers that you can have in biology, and tell you a little bit about what kind of degree programs we offer here to help you prepare for those careers. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm coming to you from our science laboratory, one of our science laboratories on campus, and I'll just zoom out a little bit so you can kind of get a little view of it. And we'll move the camera a little bit so you can see that. And I put a bunch of water sampling equipment out here on our table, so I'll tell you what some of that is for in a little while. Just a little teaser until we get rolling here. And the first thing I want to do is just tell you a little bit about myself and my careers and all the different hats I wear. So I'm going to share screen with you right now. There we go. And I put up a little PowerPoint presentation for you guys. So I called it Into the Wild because we're in biology and natural resources careers we're going to talk about. And many of those are outdoors for part of the year at least. And it just tells you a little bit about our college. I'm here at Lakota Ojibwe College, and I teach life sciences and water resources. Yeah, so let's see. Let me go to the next slide here. I'm gonna just show you my career hats. So I'm a faculty member here at the college, and I teach a lot of different courses, mostly biology and water resources classes. I'm also a biologist and I study life. And I'm a special type of biologist that just studies fresh water and freshwater living things. So I'm called a limnologist. And at one point in my life, I thought about becoming a marine biologist who just studies saltwater and ocean environments. But I grew up in the Midwest, and I actually grew up here in Wisconsin, and I'm not near any oceans, but I am by some really big Great Lakes and a lot of fresh water. And so that's what I decided to learn about and study. Okay, so some pathways to biology careers. A lot of entry-level jobs right out of high school. They're between $7 to $8 an hour. Maybe you can make a little bit more depending on where you're working. And a lot of those, if they're in the biology areas, many of those might be seasonal. You know, maybe helping to check boats at a lake for aquatic invasive species. Maybe helping out as an intern somewhere. With like the DNR maybe. Those are some of the more entry-level jobs that you could get with a high school education. If you went on and got an associate degree, which is a 2-year degree, most of those are offered through community colleges or colleges like ourselves here at Lakota College. We offer associate degrees as well as bachelor degrees. If you just got an associate degree, you could probably get a job as a technician or an assistant. And the careers you could get at that level are lab technician jobs, veterinary assistant jobs, park ranger jobs, biological technician jobs, or even GIS technician jobs. And GIS stands for Geologic Information Systems, which are computer mapping types of programs. If you went on and got a bachelor's degree, then you can get a little bit higher pay. And I just put a range there, $15 to $25 an hour, depending on what you work as. It might be your starting levels. And you could work as a biologist, a research assistant, a natural resources manager, senior lab technician, a teacher, environmentalist, forensic science person, or a conservation warden. All of those you can do with bachelor's degrees. And sometimes you can start out with an associate degree in those jobs and then work up as well. But you might have to get more education to go along with that. And then if you go to a university, you can get a bachelor's degree. And if you want to, you can go on to graduate school or professional school. And you can get jobs in advanced levels with a master's or a PhD degree. And those would be things like dentists and doctors and veterinarians, a faculty member like myself at a college, a researcher, maybe a director or manager of an agency, a consultant. Those are some of the more professional types of careers you can get in biology. So here at Lakudere Ojibwe College, we are going to try to get you started on that career path. And we offer associate degrees, which are in the science areas right now. So we have 2 associate degree programs here at our college. And if you want to check us out, I put our college website up here, and you can go to that website. And if you go to academic programs underneath the website, you'll get a little layout of each degree program we offer. And it will tell you what careers they have as an opportunity. It'll tell you a degree plan. And a degree plan is something that tells you what courses to take and when to take them to get your associate degree. So the 2 we have at our school are the Associate of Science in Science degree. It's got a biomedical sciences focus to it. And I'll show you why in a minute. And our other Associate of Applied Science degree we have is in Agriculture and Natural Resource Management. So I'm going to show you the next slide, which will show you our degree plan for Associate of Science in Science. So this tells you what classes you would get to take here. And they're college level courses. And like your first semester is a lot of what we call general education courses that give you your writing basis and your math basis. But in this particular degree, you get a year of general biology. And the first semester is general cell biology, genetics, and evolution with a lab. And the second semester is general animal biology and ecology with a lab. And then there's a plant science course you can take. And then your second year, we get you into like a year of general chemistry, 1 with a lab and 2 with a lab. And then you get a year of human anatomy and physiology. So you get human anatomy and physiology 1 with a lab and human anatomy and physiology 2 with a lab. And you also get a semester of microbiology. And then you can do a self-directed studies research project, which is an individual research project to give you some experience. So that's our science degree curriculum with our biomedical focus, because it's mainly geared to people who might want to do pre-vet or pre-dentist or pre-med or vet assistant, lab technician, those types of areas. And health and wellness types of coaching, that kind of stuff you can do with that degree. The second degree plan I put up here is Agriculture and Natural Resource Management. And this one also gives you that year of general biology, the cell biology, genetics, and evolution, and the general animal biology and ecology lab. It also starts you out with an intro to water resources class. And then after your first year, you can do a field methods and natural resources where you learn how to sample outdoors and do research projects outdoors. And you get to design your own as well. And we show you how to do that. And then your second year, you get first semester of general chemistry 1. With a lab, you can choose between earth science and environmental science. And then you can have an intro to geographic information systems with a lab and hydrology with a lab. And the hydrology course is what I call water accounting, how water moves and flows through our environment. And that's what all the sampling equipment we use in that class. We use that with the lab that goes with that class. And then your next semester or last semester would be like forestry and plant science. You can choose between those 2. You could choose between horticulture and fisheries and wildlife. That has a lab with it. And spring ethnobotany that has a lab with it. And those lab courses tend to be very popular courses. Everybody likes to do the hands-on activities. you know, with the fisheries and wildlife course with the lab, we go to the Lacoudere hatchery. We also do a field trip to the Red Cliff aquaculture demonstration visitors center up there. It's on the Red Cliff Reservation, but it's actually a state-run facility. So it's the Northern Aquaculture Demonstration Facility. It's a big, long word for that. But we go there also as part of that class. So, right, hopefully you can see me. And I'm going to show you this piece of equipment. It's called a Secchi disc. And let me just, yeah, thank you. So this one, if you were out in a boat and you wanted to check how clear your water is, you could just throw this over the side of the boat, and you can see the rope is kind of marked with little marks on it. And these marks are like every foot. So you could, there's 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, and you're looking over the side of the boat on the shady side. And when you can't see that Secchi disc anymore, then you know that's the depth that your water isn't clear enough to see down to. And it tells you a little bit about how clear your water is and how much algae you have in your water. Now, what if you wanted to get a water sample like halfway down to the bottom? I mean, you could like dive overboard and try to, you know, get to the bottom and get, you know, take a sample halfway and then get some sediment or something, but you'd get cold and you'd have to go diving and you'd have to, you know, do all that. So the easy way to do it is to use this thing. It's called a Van Doren water sampler. And basically what you do is it's got these 2 ends that you could connect up on top like that. And I'm going to just zoom in on it a little bit here so you can see it a little better. Oops. There we go. Okay. And then what you would do is this also has a rope on it that has marks on it that tell you how deep you're going to lower it. So like if you had a depth finder with you, you could just use that to find out how deep your lake was and what halfway down would be. Or you could even send something over to see where it hit the bottom and know how deep it would be. And then you could just throw this over the side. And then when you throw it over the side, and let's move this a little bit over so you can see a little bit better. I'm gonna just move this out of the way. We're gonna put this over the side of our boat. Then we're gonna send this big metal thing down. And you're gonna throw it down. And I don't know if I can get enough force from this distance, but there we do it. And now I got a water sample trapped in there from halfway down the lake. So that's what that one is called. We have another one that I probably won't demonstrate because it'll be tough to show you, but I'm just gonna lift it up for you. So if you had to get something from the bottom, then you would want to use this big metal thing. It's called an Ekman grab. And it works the same way as that water sampler did. You basically hitch up the sides of it. This. There we go. And I might be able to get it to trigger. You have to be kind of, but we would want to send this all the way down to the bottom sediment. And when it was touching the bottom sediments, then we would send this big metal, they call it a messenger, down. And we would try to trigger it from the boat by sending this down the rope. And my guess is I probably won't get enough speed with it just from this distance, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens. There we go, it's triggered. Now I got a whole bunch of sediment in there I can bring up to the boat, put in a bucket, and then find out what's in there. And If you have a lot of living things living in the bottom, then you have good water quality. But if there's nothing there, or if it's all dead, then you have good poor water quality, and there's not enough oxygen into the depths for those organisms. So that's another cool thing that we use to sample with. This is just a little scope thing that I'll show you. And you can look inside there, and then it kind of magnifies whatever you're looking at. And you'd look like, this would be like if you wanted to look in the stream or something and look at the bottom stuff and see what's moving around in there. So that would be for that. And then this one is kind of interesting. It's called a transparency tube. It's usually for river sampling. And you close the bottom of it, and then you fill it with water from your river. And then on the bottom of it, and we'll see if we can you see that little, let me see here. There we go. You see there's a little Secchi disc right on the bottom. Okay, so you're gonna put your water in here, fill it up. And then when you look inside here, you slowly let the water out until you can see the Secchi disc. And when you can see it, then you can tell how clear your water is, okay? And that measurement will tell you your water clarity. And it's just like this one that we showed you before. It's just for a stream in a tube. So if you come to LCO College and you want to take some of these courses I've been talking to you about, I'd love to have you in class. I'd love to see you in some of our life science and water resources classes, and we'd like to have you here. So come and join us. Thanks.